You're listening to Catholic Chicago. Ahead, the Archdiocese of Chicago brings you programs about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Thanks for letting us be part of your morning. Now again, Catholic Chicago.
Good morning and welcome to the Voice of Charity. I'm Katie Bredemann and we extend a warm hello to all who are listening on WNDZ 750 AM here in Chicago and all who are watching our live stream on YouTube and Facebook at Catholic Chicago. Pregnancy can be a joyful time, but if a mother is struggling with substance use while she is pregnant or being a new mother, the health of the mother and her baby are very serious concerns. Substance use addiction continues to be a significant public health crisis in Illinois. According to the National Institute of Health, in Illinois, more than 2,100 deaths last year in our state were due to substance use, with fentanyl being a drug that is the cause of death in an increasing number of cases. Catholic Charities Transforming Lives program continues to help expectant mothers deal with this very difficult situation so that they and their babies become healthier over the course of a pregnancy and throughout their child's first year. Here to provide us with an update on this life-affirming program are LAURA KUEVER, Catholic Charities Associate Vice-President in our Child, Youth, and Family Service area, and ALYSAN Anderson, the lead doula and certified peer recovery specialist for Transforming Lives. Welcome, Laura and Allie.
Thanks, Katie. So happy to be here today.
Delighted to have you both. Thank you so much for being here. Laura, can I ask you to please remind our audience how and when did the Transforming Lives program begin?
Sure, Katie. So the Illinois Department of Human Services Substance Use Prevention and Recovery Department, also known as SUPER, released a notification of funding award to develop a program to serve pregnant and postpartum women with opiate use disorder. SUPER had received federal funding from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Department, SAMHSA, we love our acronyms, and developed the model that we use. We at Catholic Charities thought this was a great opportunity for us to combine our knowledge, skills, and expertise in our home visiting world, our doula world, and our substance use world into one program. So we wrote a proposal, and lo and behold, we received the funding for the program. The program started on July 1st, 2019, and the eligibility criteria for services was expanded during year 2. So now we can serve clients who not only have opiate addictions, but also methamphetamine addictions and cocaine addictions.
And Laura, your own training was one of the reasons that the state of Illinois chose Catholic Charities to be a provider for this program, correct?
Correct. I think that it helped that I'm certified as an alcohol and drug counselor. So I got my first experience in doing that when I was working with Lake County Health Department's addiction treatment program. And at that time, the program was a 12-day inpatient detox and rehab program. I had very little knowledge when I walked in the door about alcohol and substance use addiction. And I absolutely fell in love with the work I was doing and the clients I had the privilege to serve. It was so amazing to see someone come into treatment still actively using, and then once the substances were out of their body, they transformed into a completely new person. It really was like seeing a caterpillar become a butterfly. And I've literally been hooked on this work since. So a couple of years after I left the addictions treatment program, I had the privilege of coming to Catholic Charities as a substance use counselor for our HIV program in Lake County. I was able, through that experience, to do both individual and group counseling, and my love of working with clients who are struggling with substance use addiction continued to grow. And so while working at Catholic Charities back in 2005, I became a certified alcohol and drug counselor.
And so how are women referred to our program, or how do they hear about it? How can you reach out and let people know that we're here for them at this very difficult time in their lives when they know themselves that the substance use is harmful to them and to their children? These are not, irresponsible women. They're just really struggling. How do the referrals come to Catholic Charities?
Sure. So mostly our referrals are coming from our community partnerships. For obvious reasons, women who are pregnant and who are struggling with substance use are probably going to be hesitant to reach out to someone like us for fear of DCFS becoming involved in their life and potentially not being able to keep their baby. So we are really dependent on our community partnerships so that when they identify women that they're working with that meet the criteria for a program, that they then trust us with sending that woman to us so we can provide these really unique services to that woman.
And Laura, before we get over to Allie, can you just share with everyone what are the main components of the Transforming Lives program?
Sure. So we provide free pregnancy and postpartum services to women who are struggling with substance use. So the services that we provide include a lot of things, but mostly recovery assistance, prenatal and childbirth education, healthy pregnancy advice, support groups, basic parenting supplies, and birth and postpartum doula support.
And so as we talked about at the top of the show, that 2,100 deaths in Illinois from last year were due to substance abuse or substance use. What are the conditions on which you're meeting these women? What are the substances that they're using? And are you seeing a rise in fentanyl, which we hear is increasingly causing a public health crisis in our state?
Mm-hmm. So most of the women who are enrolled in our program are using some form of an opiate. While the most common opiate for misuse is heroin, testing of the supply across the city and sadly the nation has shown that much of the heroin being purchased is laced with fentanyl. So fentanyl is up to 50 times stronger than heroin, which means that it can be deadly even in very small amounts. And according to the Illinois Department of Public Health, the leading cause of maternal mortality in Illinois has been substance use disorder. Overdose made up around 40% of total maternal deaths in Illinois, most of which has been caused by fentanyl. Ecstasy, Molly, cocaine, and other amphetamines are likewise being laced with fentanyl. Much of the drug supply in general is plagued by this really highly dangerous substance.
Well, that just affirms the importance of this Transforming Lives program even more right now, while this drug crisis gets worse and more deadly by the day. Allie, can we ask a little bit about you? I know, too, just like Laura, you're highly qualified as a peer recovery specialist and also as a doula. You're the lead doula for this program. Can you please explain for our audience who may not be familiar with that term, how do you assist women who are pregnant and then also those who are young mothers dealing in the Transforming Lives program?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm Allie, and I have worked as a doula for about 6 years. So doulas go through a training program and then a certification process, and also peer recovery specialists go through a training and certification process. So I've been certified in both of those things, as well as postpartum doula services. And doulas are people who provide emotional, physical, and educational support to pregnant people. And so originally doulas come from a Greek word that means a woman's servant. And so the emphasis is on giving full attention to that birthing person and their experience. Oftentimes, labor and delivery and pregnancy in general can be a really transformative time. And so our job, as we see it, is really to help them and empower them to have a very capable experience so that they feel like their birthing desires have been met. And we're giving them lots of educational tools and information to make sure that they feel that they can make decisions for their bodies and for their babies. So our goal is really just to be fully present to the miracle that happens at each birth and highlighting the work of the participants in that miracle.
And your work, Allie, is very one-on-one, very in-person, attention to that emotional strength of each mother. It must have been so challenging in the last couple of years. How has your, the procedures of how you're meeting with women, been affected by the pandemic? Are you able to do in-person visits again, or is everything still telehealth?
Yeah, so we really meet people where they're at. Some participants, they want televisits still, and we're definitely obviously still willing and able to do that. But a lot of our people want in-person visits. And so we've gone back to meeting people in their homes when it's possible. And we really emphasize just meeting people with whatever they need in that moment. So if they need in-person visits, we are definitely available for that.
I'm guessing your hours are very much like those of an obstetrician too, where you might get a call in the middle of the night and very selflessly go and make sure you're with that woman to be her emotional support during the actual childbirth.
Yeah, some nights I sleep with my work phone under my pillow. So
what tremendous dedication you're showing, Allie, to these women and to Catholic Charities. Thank you so much for all you do. Could you expand a little bit more on, Laura mentioned that one of the key components of transforming lives is education. Allie, can I ask you to talk a little bit about what that education component includes?
Absolutely. So a lot of our first education is about childbirth. And so we work on pregnancy. We'll do, since we meet with our people weekly, a lot of education on what's happening in their bodies in each of the stages of pregnancy, as well as preparation for birth and labor. And then we do a lot of breastfeeding promotion. And then obviously the other main portion of our program is the substance use education. So we talk a lot about recovery and emotional health, positive coping strategies for dealing with difficult emotions that might come up, and as well as parenting education. So we do a lot of developmental milestones and education on what children should be, how their development should be progressing.
And may I ask, how do you gauge progress for the clients in Transforming Lives in terms of their own recovery, and the increasingly important, health of their child?
So in the first few weeks of our time together, we establish a service plan. And in that service plan, our participants identify themselves, their own progress goals. So they may have specific things that they really want to focus on. And that documentation is what we use to gauge our progress. So because they are client-focused goals, we want to make sure that it's something that they feel determined to show progress in. And that's how, likewise, we are able to support them.
And so I know you also work with women after a child has been born up to age 12 months. Could I ask you both to weigh in a little bit on how that program is similar and different from working with expectant moms? Laura, may I ask you to weigh in first?
Sure. So I think that mostly it's different because their needs are different at that time, right? So we're really trying to provide services, like Allie said, that are very individual based and are exactly where our clients are in their recovery journey and their birth journey and their postpartum journey. So if they need, like Allie had mentioned, parenting skills or education on how to care for a newborn or breastfeeding support or whatever it is that a woman would need, postpartum, those are the services that we provide. So while we have, array of different services that we offer clients, what we actually provide is very individual to what they need, what they want, and what they, are willing to participate in.
And Allie, I'm guessing that postpartum visits, those are very essential to help that woman gain her confidence in being a new mother.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes people may have had children prior to the child that's born in our program, but there's a lot of DCFS involvement in some of our cases. And so sometimes those women may not have been able to raise those previous children. And so having a child in our program and being able to keep that baby at home and learn how to parent is a lot of times very healing for people in our program.
That is an important component of Transforming Lives, that as much as you want to just 1,000% support the women, you have to abide by the rules of law enforcement and the rules of the Department of Children and Family Services. So if you'll bear with us, we're going to take a quick break here on The Voice of Charity. And when we return, we're going to continue our conversation with Laura Kuever and Allie Anderson about Catholic Charities Transforming Lives program. Please stay tuned.
Did you know that Catholic Charities accepts car donations? If you're ready to free up space in your garage and put a stop to all those expenses that go along with owning a car, we will gratefully accept your donation, whether the car is running or not. You choose a pickup time that is convenient for you, and we will make the donation as easy as possible, free of charge. You'll receive a charitable donation receipt as well. We accept all types of vehicles nationwide, and you will know that your donation is made to Catholic Charities, an agency you can trust. To learn more about donating your car, call 877-786-4483. That's 877-786-4483. Thank you.
I feel special. I feel great. I got good grades.
We've seen a huge surge in our kids now meeting or exceeding grade level. Come check us out. You may have never thought we were an option before.
We are hiring. Catholic Charities of the Archdiocese of Chicago is looking for mission-driven individuals who want to help make a positive difference in the lives of people in need throughout Cook and Lake counties. Be part of a diverse, talented team of professionals in the largest human services organization in the Midwest. We are dedicated to helping people chart a more stable, happier future for themselves, and we accompany anyone in need, regardless of faith, gender, race, or ethnicity. Competitive salaries and generous benefits add to the satisfaction you'll have every day, knowing that you're helping us amplify our impact in Chicago. To see our list of employment opportunities, visit CatholicCharities.net.
Welcome back to the Voice of Charity. I'm Katie Bredemann, and it's my great pleasure today to be here with LAURA KUEVER, Catholic Charities Associate Vice-President for our Child, Youth, and Family Services Division, along with ALYSAN Anderson, who is the lead doula and a certified peer recovery specialist for Catholic Charities Transforming Lives program. This program is doing great things in Chicago, helping women who are struggling with substance abuse during pregnancy and during their first year of being mothers. And Laura and Allie, before the break, we were talking about the challenges that you have in supporting women through their recovery and in their first year of being mothers, while also needing to abide by the rules of law enforcement and DCFS here in the state of Illinois. Can I just ask you to both weigh in on the one aspect of medical professionals, for example, as the women are recovering and as their children are growing before they're being born, how do you work with those medical professionals to abide by what they're saying, but also keep supporting those women, even if a child is possibly going to be taken from them for a certain amount of time? Laura, may I start with you?
Sure. So hospital staff, when a baby is born, they're mandated reporters. So they're due by law. And if the baby is born with substances in the system, they have and when tasks come to investigate the situation, we do our best to share the information with DCFS as far as the services that we're providing and our clients' participation in the program and all of the great things that they have done to have a healthy pregnancy and a healthy baby, and the ongoing support that we are going to provide for them, with the hopes that that will weigh into DCFS's decision of whether or not they're going to allow that our mom to retain custody of her baby. So it's really up to them. They have to do what's best for that baby, of course, which we absolutely understand and respect. We just want to be the best advocates that we can for our clients and make sure that the information is being presented in the most helpful way to them, so that when the investigator is making the decision about what's in the baby's best interest, he or she has all the information that they need to be able to make the most informed decision.
And Allie, you shared with me that sometimes you might even write a letter in support of the woman and share that with law enforcement and DCFS to advocate for her to the greatest extent you can.
Yeah, absolutely. We sometimes provide letters to DCFS or to court, just stating about our participants' involvement in the program and what our program is able to offer. And we find that a lot of times DCFS workers who hear about all the services that we offer are super glad to partner with us in support of the parent.
And I'm guessing the gauges of progress that we talked about earlier are very helpful, right? When you're writing those letters, you can say this young mom is absolutely committed to getting better herself, and for the sake of her child, right? Those steps of her own recovery probably are great pieces of evidence for you to share.
Definitely, and because they are goals that she herself has said that she wants to accomplish, then it's even easier to talk about because it's something that she's excited about and something she's working on. So.
And as you mentioned, Allie, all three of us are so fortunate to work for this great organization that can help people in specific ways, but also larger ways. And so I'm sure that it's such a blessing in these women's lives when you're able to share with them all the great things that Catholic Charities can do for them if they're struggling in other areas of their life. Am I right, Laura?
Absolutely. So that is, one of the many privileges of working for Catholic Charities is that we truly take care of people from cradle to grave and everything in between, right? So there are so many great services and assistance that we can provide within this one specific program, but should a client need services that are outside of the scope of what this program does, we have 50 other programs that we can refer them to and we can work with that can provide, the services that they need so that the women are getting exactly what they need.
And as we talked in preparation for the show today, you shared a couple wonderful stories, success stories of women who found, increased health and confidence and just happier lives by being in Transforming Lives. Can I ask you each to share one of those stories? Laura, may I start with you?
Absolutely. This is my favorite part of the work that we do, is being able to tell a story about how someone's life has forever changed as a result of participation in one of our programs. So recently we had a participant who was referred to us while she was living in a tent community under an overpass. She was 7 months pregnant and had not received any prenatal care, and she was actively using street drugs. Together with her doula, she got referred to prenatal care and inpatient substance use treatment. While in treatment, she had a beautiful daughter who got to stay with her. And since having her child, she has completed her treatment program and has graduated to a transitional living center where she still meets regularly with her doula for postpartum support.
That is a wonderful story of inner strength, but also her trust in your program to help her and aid her recovery. That's a great story. Allie, how about you?
Yeah, I feel like it's amazing how every story in our program in some way has its own success, even if it's not some grand success story. I think I can point one out for everyone. But another really incredible story is of a teen parent in our program. So as you can imagine, teen parents face a lot at such a young age, but her determination to care for her baby was incredible. She's a first-generation American, and she also takes care of her younger siblings quite often. Her pregnancy was full of lots of bumps in the road, including a very early delivery that left baby in the NICU for a while. And while the baby was there, she visited him almost daily and continued to breastfeed him, which is very rare for teen parents, might I add. And then this helped him grow so substantially that he was released from the NICU much earlier than we expected. He's now at home, and although he was preterm and also diagnosed with Down syndrome, he's meeting so many developmental milestones, and his mom is also working on finishing her GED.
I have to say, I'm so moved by, you telling these stories. You're helping these women believe in themselves, which maybe if they've come from very challenged situations in their lives, they've lost that confidence. They've lost that motivation or sense of their own goals in life. And what I'm hearing from both of you is such tremendous empathy and warmth and enthusiasm that I just can't help but believe that's a huge component of this. It's a real credit to you and your team of other doulas and other case managers to help these women believe in themselves so they want to recover. You're empowering them in great ways. It's really so fascinating to learn about and to hear from you. Thank you for sharing so much today. I also just wanted to talk a little bit about the component of women supporting each other in the program. You guys have shared with me little ways that they do that, or little and big ways. Laura, could you talk a little bit about that for us?
Sure. So they connect with our participants, are in similar life changes together frequently. And so we have some of our participants who come back to show others the way forward. So it gives them time for their babies to socialize and find community in each other and commonality in the issues that they might be dealing with. So it's really nice. I think that very much the substance use recovery journey is about giving back the help and support that you received when you needed it the most. And so I think by allowing our participants to have contact with one another in the ways that everyone is consenting to and feels comfortable with, it allows women that are further in their journey to give back to the women who are, maybe just starting their journey and need that ongoing support.
And Allie, you've shared with me that women stay in touch with the other participants in Transforming Lives even after they graduate from the program, right?
Yeah, they stay in touch with each other because I think community is just so important for this population. They also stay in touch with us. We've actually had even one woman who came back for her second pregnancy to re-enter into our program. So I feel like our web of people is wide, and they kind of stay on the peripheries of the web, if you will.
I'm also guessing, Allie, that these women who have graduated from the program would be wonderful resources to come and speak to new participants in the program and help them believe in themselves too.
Absolutely. Yep. And that does happen. We actually have one participant who graduated who's considering becoming a peer recovery specialist herself. So.
Wow. Well, that's really inspiring to listen to. As I said at the top of the show, there, definitely is a public health crisis in the state of Illinois about substance use. But this program, Transforming Lives at Catholic Charities, is directly, attacking those statistics. It's directly getting to the root of problems and helping people where they're at, as you said, Allie, and making a huge difference in these women's lives and in the lives of their children so that they're all healthier going forward. Laura, could I please ask you to share with the audience the best contact information for anybody listening or watching this show who'd like to learn more about Transforming Lives, like to look into volunteering or just offering financial support to help these women and their babies?
Sure. So anyone who's interested in receiving services that we're providing, they can call our intake line, and that phone number is 312-391-9447. We also, our case manager, whose name is Rachel Walton, is also the person who mans that phone, and her email address is rwalton, WALTON, @CatholicCharities.net. So she is the best person for anyone who's interested in receiving the services that we provide, or anyone who has a friend or family member that may be eligible for our services and wants to learn more. For anyone who is interested in supporting this program in other ways, like you said, Katie, in either volunteering or in a monetary donation, which we would so greatly appreciate, they can contact our clinical manager, whose name is Gina Young, and her phone number is 773-677-3384. And she can also be contacted via email at gyoung, YOUNG, @CatholicCharities.net.
Wonderful information to share, Laura. It's such a delight to have you both on the program. We ask that you please come back and keep us informed on progress. You're doing great things in Chicago, and we just salute you both and your colleagues for this great impact that you're making in these lives of these mothers and children. Thank you again so much for being here today.
Thanks, Katie.
Thank you, Katie.
And we invite you back again next week for another edition of The Voice of Charity. For now, this is Katie Bredemann, and we thank you for tuning in and believing in the mission of Catholic Charities.
Join us every Monday through Friday at this time for Catholic Chicago. You can stream our programs live or listen to past programs by visiting our website, archchicago.org, and clicking on Radio TV. And please connect with Catholic Chicago on social media.